I'd like to start with with something which I was interested in for many years, and which for the first time I think we have solved in a satisfactory way. And this is the to find spectacular chess games in a database, to find beautiful games.
Okay.
You see, we have a mega database of 10 million games, and we can search by anything, but how do we find the most interesting games of a historic tournament of a player also? And in ChessBase 15, since ChessBase 15, we deliver a database. It's called, sorry, since 16, it's called replay training, for the replay training function. And it's our selection. I have it here on my machine of the maybe the most interesting the games in the history of chess, about 300 of them.
Got it.
And this database, it's already converted to the new format, and Matthias will speak about all the advantages of the new format later on. And so now we can suddenly store new things in this new format. And there are many things, and one thing I'm exploiting here, it's storing a beauty value for every game. And if I have this is a small database, it will be very quick. You can see 270 games. And there's a new function which is called set beauty. And I've called this for the database. It's a matter of a few seconds, and every game gets assigned between 0 and 3 medals. And 3 medals is something cool, something spectacular. 1 medal is a nice, interesting game. 0 medals is more a positional game with no big action in it, or simply a boring game, a short draw, whatever.
Okay.
Of course, you can sort by beauty in this beauty column. And then the nice thing, which we really are proud of, is I've sorted these 270 games, and they are, of course, they are interesting games. You will recognize many of the games.
Right.
And, but you see, on top of this sort, you see Andersen Kieseritzky and Andersen Defray, the immortal game and the evergreen.
Right.
Maybe the two most spectacular historical games. So we think that is a nice proof of the algorithm that, and when I saw this the first time, I was really pleased to see that the algorithm sorts these two games to the top.
So does it recognize through the sacrifices made, or how is it?
Yeah, of course. Let's just see. For example, if I see a game which I looked at today for testing, it is the game Lasker Bauer, the famous double bishop sacrifice. It's also in this database. It only gets 2 medals.
Oh, okay.
So the other are even more spectacular because they have queen sacrifices also. And even more spectacular attacks, king in the center. But I load Lasker Bauer here. And okay, so now you have this naked game. And of course, you know the game, but imagine it's an unknown game and you are not as strong in chess as you are. And you don't see immediately, well, why is this game spectacular? Of course, you could do tactical analysis on it, which we always recommend, and we improved it a lot, this important tactical analysis function.
Okay.
But there's a quick shortcut here now, which is this red medal, being an analogy to our medals in ChessBase, the sacrifice medal, it's a bright red. And if I click on this, in 10 milliseconds, it will show me all spectacular things in the game. And of course, we have Lasker Bauer. You see the double bishop sacrifice here. Amazing. And in the end, there's a queen sacrifice, but this is just a technical thing to get a one-pawn game. But still, it's a stupid sacrifice, but it's counted as sacrifice here for the game.
Amazing.
Okay. Yeah, so in any game you load, we can just load an arbitrary game. Just I haven't prepared this here. It's you see, okay, here's pawn sacrifice.
This is a brilliant feature for any trainer who wants to teach his students sacrificing material.
Yeah, and it is for, you see, nowadays people are so impatient. They have such a short attention span, and of course they have to replay the game, but with one click they can see the high points in the game. And you see, there are also diagrams before such sacrifices, and there's some new functionality in ChessBase 17 that you can toggle these toggle these diagrams with one click. So if you want to have a more compact notation, you can just switch them away. This is a very handy toolbar for annotated games. We already introduced it with ChessBase 16, but enhanced it for ChessBase 17.
So when you click on that diagram, it actually becomes positions to solve for people, like white to play.
Yes, yeah. We can come to a new training function later, but at the moment I just wanted to show you beauty and how to quickly check beautiful games.
Right.
First function I showed you about beauty was having a database and assigning a beauty value to any of the games in the database. And there are two more ways to use this. One is, for example, that let's say you have the Mega database, of course, converted to the new format, which is here. And if I open with Control P the players index of this Mega database, and I go to, well, you have a strong player here. I have to find any player with a lot of games.
Why did you say it's a new format of Mega database? Is it now different from before?
Yeah, we introduced a new data format, and I think this is the most crucial thing about ChessBase 17. It has many advantages, and this Mega database is already converted to this new format. And Matthias will talk about the advantages later. At the moment, let's just look for maybe for Fischer. I haven't prepared this. Robert James. Okay, here's Robert James. Okay, and now let's see. I have all these games of Fischer here in the players index, and I hit Control A to select them all.
Right.
And right click, set beauty.
Okay.
Oh, that's a weird. Okay, so now I get a beauty value for all of Fischer's games here. And sorting this shows me Fischer Cardozo, of course, is top. You know this game, Fischer Cardozo. Yeah. And again, cluck, we see Kang.
Nice one. Nice.
Isn't this cool?
This is amazing. It's like, you know, you can earlier what I was telling people is that if you want to study the games of great players, use Mega database and use the replay function. But then they would ask, how do I know which is the best game of a top player? And now with this, they can use the beauty index, get the top, use the replay training, and then train.
That's perfect example. Thank you. Yeah. Third and final way to use beauty is, of course, you can combine it in any search. You can, for example, this is a new search mask.
This is a new one.
I just used it now. Let's say we look at, I will explain this later. I'm just talking about beauty for the moment. Let's say we have short games, not longer than 25 moves, white wins, and they are beautiful and they are strong. So both players should be above 2,500.
This is a new, these two buttons, good games and beautiful games are new ones, right?
Yeah, the good games, I think, is already ChessBase 16, but beautiful games, it's very small here, but it has a lot of power. So I start the search here. And now you can see that there are games by decent players above 2,500. And if I use on any of those games, it's still searching. I stop the search so that I can work with the games. And let's see whether maybe, so some Kasparov game here. And so those games would not be super spectacular, but any game that has at least one beauty medal would be found in this search. And if I look at this, well, that seems to be an interesting game, but it has no sacrifices. Still, it is an interesting and beautiful game. So the sacrifice detector doesn't give me any red findings. I'll look at another game, and here you can see we have a knight sacrifice. Still, the game would be rated as interesting or beautiful by the search, because you saw there was quite a lot of attacking action here, which the algorithm found interesting to look at.
Right.
Obviously.
But is this search result, we cannot put the medals that came like
of
3?
Of course we can. Normally you would see, normally you would have, if you convert your data, you would have, all columns was not now bright, you would have a column and it would be preset. But of course you could, well, it is a search result, it's not possible. But the database normally, the Mega database should have a beauty medal for each game, for every game, and which at the moment I haven't set yet on this database because it takes 2 hours or so to look, because you have to replay every game and analyze it.
So you think I can use these functions, put in a new data, and this search results, put in a new database, and then I can assign the medals there?
Absolutely. Then it's very quick. I mean, if you saw how quick it was for these 300 games, it was 5 seconds.
Got it.
If I do it on the Mega database just for fun.
You mean entire?
Yeah, entire. Genau. Okay. We go here and set beauty. And
that would take a lot of time, no?
Yeah, the reason is because you see it has to replay every game and look at every position and look, are there sacrifices? How are the pieces? How is the piece mobility, the king safety, the passed pawns? So you see this would now take 600 games per second. And on my machine, it would be, it is about 4 hours for the Mega. And I simply haven't done this yet. Okay, but you can see how this works. And And if I stop it here and write the results until now, then I can see that there are medals for the first games here.
Fantastic.
Okay, so now we have seen one way to consume those interesting games. But let me use those games as an example for the second thing, which I really want, which I personally am proud of, and I'd really like to show. I go back to my historical games, and I could go back to Lasker Bauer again here. Lasker. I explain this later. Okay, we already saw, but I go now to the critical position before the first bishop sacrifice, and I start my engine here. The things which I'm going to show you now will work with any engine. They are engine independent. I'm using a related Stockfish here at the moment, but it's not a feature in any way related to Stockfish. So if you look at this engine window, you can see a lot of new things. And the first thing is, wow, a move gets an exclamation mark in the engine variation, sacrifice.
Right.
Then you have these weird colored marks.
Right.
And you see many of them. Basically means, color means forced. And I explain now how this means forced. You know that the chess informant annotation symbol for only move is a square. And all these squares you see here denote only moves in this variation. So you see immediately that this is a pretty forced variation. No surprise about this in this game. And this is the reason I took this, because I was sure that this would immediately yield a forced variation. And but you see a lot of color here, and you see the longer we let the engine run, the more only moves we get. We have a real long forced variation here, and every one of these forced moves has a color-coded square, and the two colors basically describe the annotation of the best, the evaluation of the best and the second best move in this position. Let's, for example, have a look at bishop takes h7 check here. You can see that the top left triangle of the square is green, whereas the lower right is yellowish. It's the following. Green means the best move, bishop takes h7, is winning. Yellow means the second best move in this variation is within the drawing width. It's maybe it's okay for white, but it's certainly not winning, and it's also not losing. Let's look at the queen h takes a h5 check here. Best move. King takes
so
is winning.
in king takes h7, red means it's already losing, but if he doesn't take, then black is mating.
Black, yeah, black is mated if you don't take.
Exactly.
If you don't take the bishop, you get mated.
Got it.
Mate in 4. And so if you, and this is now cool, you see, completely new in ChessBase 17, I can use my mouse and just watch the board, what's happening, while I move my mouse over these moves. So I can now replay this variation without doing anything on the board or in the notation, just by moving my mouse or by leaving my mouse there and hitting the cursor keys to replay the engine variation.
And it is lightened up a little bit, so you understand it's a engine. I mean, it's not on the board.
Yeah. The transparency of the pieces shows that you're not in a real game continuation, but in an engine variation here.
Got it.
And the question is, how do we get all these only move informations? Because the engine, Stockfish, doesn't tell us that this is the only move in the position. It would tell us this if we calculated 2 lines, but we calculate only 1 line here. And in the same time, we can search much deeper because we only use 1 line. And the answer is called buddy. Buddy is a split of the main engine, a second engine, where we say, aha, the user wants to load Stockfish 15, fine. But we take some part of the resources, maybe 1 core of the CPU and a 1/5 of the hash memory of the engine, and use it for a second engine. And we call this the buddy engine. And you can switch on and off the buddy engine with this little dog here. It's a kind of watchdog which runs around and looks at all those moves like little sheep. And buddy is searching any position of this line and runs back and forth and detects information about those moves. And you can see the result of those searches here in the buddy window. And if I go, for example, on bishop takes h7, the buddy window with the 2 small engine lines shows you buddy's search result for the position before bishop takes h7. And there you can see, of course, that bishop takes is winning. And the second best, just recapturing the knight on h5, would only be an equal position. And you can also see, I hope this is visible in the video, that the evaluation values 8.06 and 0.2 are colored. And those are the same colors as in the little square here behind the moves. And so you know that king takes h7. Taking is lost for black, but not taking is mate in 4 for black. And this you can see in the buddy window. And for every move here, you can get this information. And so this is much more information in analysis than any previous version of ChessBase offered. And buddy goes, the longer you search with the engine, the deeper buddy goes into the line, but these late positions have no analysis results yet.
So
you can, yeah.
So all these colors are basically green for winning, yellow for equal, red for lost, black for mating. And that's how it comes. And it takes the difference between line 1 and line 2. And if the difference is more, then it makes it the only move, sort of.
If it's big difference, this is the only. You're right. And sometimes you see this in 9F rook F3. It's a cool move because it's certain mate, but bishop queen H5 would also be of the same value. So it says, okay, you could also play queen H5. It has the same value, and this is a little annotation to make this clearer. So the power of buddy is twofold. First of all, you have an immediate visual feedback that how forced is this position. And you can here see it's completely forced. And the second interesting point is, you see, since many years, since when Matthias invented multi-variation analysis, he invented this. We practically recommended, guys, use 2 lines because you need this information to see is this the best move or not. But this is, of course, expensive because at the same time, you cannot search as deep as if you would search with 1 variation only. And now you get this crucial information, whether this is the best and only move. You get it by body, by sacrificing a tiny bit of your hardware resources. But your main engine searches at full speed, very deep. So this is much more efficient than any engine analysis in any existing Fritz or ChessBase version up to now.
So if you what you are saying is, if I increase the number of lines next to Stockfish 15 with that plus magnifying glass, it will take more resources of my computer. Yes. So that's the reason why the body does what it would do with 2 lines, but with lesser resources used.
Indeed. Body will also work in multivariation analysis. You can see that it annotates this variation, and the information is already there, is cached. It doesn't have to be recalculated. And now it will start looking at the second line also. And you can see what I demonstrated before, that this replay on the board is working for all the lines.
Got it.
So if you are a correspondence player and you are a strong grandmaster and you don't care about body and you want your full CPU power and you don't want to sacrifice 15 or 20% of your hash memory, then you just switch it off with 1 click. It's very smooth, and your body is now gray instead of green, and now you don't have body information anymore, with the exception of this very first move. But here the information is deduced from the 2 variation calculation.
So it can also do without the body, the color marking.
Only for the first move in the multivariation analysis. And so toggling between body on and off is very fast. Now body is active again and will start his job again. Okay, this was the first crucial new thing in the engine window. There are a couple of things which we introduced with Fritz 18, and which are pretty cool, but which maybe most ChessBase users haven't seen yet. First of all, very simple, is switch the engine window to hint mode. Okay. So I'll better switch off body because I would see the variations, but you see that check the tactics is the hint here. And okay, I also should switch off. Let's check. And so this just mean, okay, look for some sacrifice. Next hint would be sacrifice the bishop. Okay, now I should see maybe. And this is pretty interesting because let's say you follow games live or so, then you are in a kind of interactive training. You know this already from Fritz 18.
Right.
Second cool thing, which also is transplanted from Fritz 18, is the visual evaluation on the right, which for any position shows the placement of the pieces, the sharpness of the position, the material balance here, and the activity. White is in this position somewhat more active than black, but not dominating yet. When you move your mouse over a variation, again, you can see, if you look carefully on the right, that the visual evaluation gets updated for every move.
Right.
And it's quite also interesting because you see the material balance for any point in the engine variation on the bottom right. For example, in this position, white is a queen up already, so totally won. So
queen and 2 pawns for rook and queen, 2 bishops.
Oh no, but okay, white will now have this double attack and win one of the bishops. Sorry, this was stupid, but you get the point.
So, got it.
Okay. So this is visual evaluation, already known from Fritz 18.
This visual evaluation, how do you envisage people using it? Like this sort of, these are the pieces in the best position, right? So that's the main thing. If it's green, if it's red, it's in danger.
Yeah, let's go to the starting position. In the starting positions, you see a lot of red,
right?
Because pieces have no good squares, no mobility. but kings are safe, very green,
Right.
and the pawn structure is okay. And activity is very low. You see this little gear here. It means activity is extremely low because nothing is developed yet. And also the hotness of the position is one flame only, so no action, no threats, nothing, no spectacular things in the position. So, and
Got it.
well, okay, let's now. There's so many more things in this engine
Right.
window which
Right.
are not obvious, which I really would like to show you. Let's, for example, here you see when people annotate games, there's now a very new and comfortable shortcut. For example, you can see, oh, this whole variation is forced. So I take the whole variation until rook h3 check, and I click on rook h3, click, and nothing happens. A stupid example. You can only see that the cursor moves to rook h3 notation. What I wanted to show is I wanted to annotate the game with this variation, but since the game is the variation, nothing happened.
Correct.
Let's go to a different position. Let's maybe go here. I have this column line and until rook 81, and I click here, and then you see
nice.
with one click I can. And the interesting thing that clicking on the move is recognized. So if I say I want this line only until bishop b1 16, I click on this bishop move, and it will only be extended until there. And if I go back here, I have new variations, click, and quickly create a lot of analysis.
Right, right. This is actually people, the seconds of top players who are working a lot with engines no need to put the moves manually. They can sort of click into the variations and.
Indeed. Yeah. Okay, so this was the about analyzing and the interactivity of the engine move. We talked about body, but we haven't talked about one striking thing, which also I think is really something new. You see, when we started this in the early 90s with engine analysis in ChessBase for DOS, Matthias has done all the groundbreaking work. He invented the crucial things, and they stayed basically unchanged for 30 years. All our competition, basically, it means, okay, main variation, maybe multiple variations, best moves, evaluation, a lot of numbers, a lot of text, that's it. We now start to describe the position, to describe the engine variations in Word. And you can see this, for example, you have already maybe noticed this. You see this text describing the main variation. Obvious things like bishop takes f7 is a sec. And it's even classified, the combination is classified as a decoy because the king is lured into the check of queen h5. Same as bishop takes g7 is also detected as a sacrifice. And then the variation tells you, okay, 19 rook f3 threatens mate. So if I move the cursor, I can see this easily. Another annotation would be here sharp play. Oh, no, it has changed because the variation changed. No, sharp play with queen h6. I can move my cursor on the move and see, oh yeah, this is obviously sharp. Well, black loses the queen, not a big thing.
So
and
what it
white is winning attack.
is the first line. The below what it explains in words is always the first line, or?
No, it is for any engine variation shown here.
Okay, got it.
The algorithm tries to explain the crucial chess turning points or chess elements of this variation, because normal players cannot do what you can do. They cannot visualize this variation, what's happening there.
Got it.
For example, you might see, of course, that queen, what white threatens mate here, but then you see that, would you see that b4 is a sacrifice here? And you see that queens get exchanged off the board here. And those are just random variations. I can do this anywhere. I can go here and go on any variation, and you will see when I move my mouse over the variations, here it's they're all the same basically, but then the text will change, and there are many motifs in this text about pawn structure, open, closed center, pawn levers, attacks, initiative, all the material things, sacrifices, things like trapped pieces are described, a good placement of pieces, bishop pair, opposite bishops, all these things are all described. So whenever you see such a chess element happening in the variation, it's listed there. Sometimes this can be huge. And for not only for weaker players, but also for strong players, it can be pretty interesting to see these hidden motives developing later in the variation, because they always show elements which somehow are hidden in the position and which somehow repeat also. Let's just go to an arbitrary different game. We have stayed long enough. I'm just like in lottery, I'm taking any game. Again, let's go, maybe this one here. I don't know, this is spectacular, doesn't matter. I just go to any position, a pawn position, very different position, and I move my mouse. And you see here, it's very simple. White.
Black is better. White has a nice. Oh, nice, nice. Very cool. This is a very famous game because of this d4 pawn weakness and.
Aha. Okay. Yeah. Okay. For example, you see here in this third line, you get why is this a dangerous pawn on a4? Well, it is. Well, it's just the mobility of the pawn. it's evaluated. It's dangerous, interesting. Yeah, maybe this is a strange command, but you have white activates. This is now vanished because the variation has changed. But you can see that, for example, this explanation is quite nice. Black is much more active after King G2, and so these are positional factors which are also described in natural language when you look at those variations.
So earlier, when people used to see the engine evaluation, they would not know why this evaluation was given. With this, it is like a trainer is explaining to them that this is the reason why it is better, why black is better.
Yeah. Okay. Final thing about the engine window is it has also been introduced with Fritz 18, but also improved here. You can see the red line, which tells you here thread, so that you always see the thread. You don't have to toggle your engine search, waste search power with X anymore.
I have the X button. Okay, got it.
If there's an interesting thread, and only then, some non-trivial thread, not a recapture or stuff, then it will be shown on the as a red line here. You could even use this also for annotation. You can click on it, and then the thread beginning with a null move will be added as annotation to the game. It's not very useful here, but just to show this in principle.
So it's basically the result of the X button. The top line is shown here in red, which we can got it.
And it doesn't take search power away from the main engine. This is also very important. If you do X, it's okay. It spoils your search. You see, you get same result. Rook takes c6, rook c6. Well, it oscillates a bit because this is a weak threat here. It's no strong tactical position. But you spoil your main search by this, and it's better to have it. It's basically done by a buddy kind of separate engine that gets this information.
Got it.
Okay, there are many things more to show, but I will also want to leave some time for Matthias, who also has interesting things to show. I will close my talks with the two things here. One is the new search mask, which was developed by Jeroen, and the new position input, which also was developed by Jeroen. I go to the main window of ChessBase. I go to the Mega database. And if I open this new search mask, it is interactive. I reset it. And for example, if I click on players, it will take some time the first time, but only once.
Okay.
The first time and every time I start the program, it will take a couple of seconds in the Mega database to read all players, only for the player search. But this has a huge benefit.
So there was a new search filter in ChessBase 16, which would come apart from the advanced one, but it is now replaced with this one.
Yeah, but you can use the old one also, because you have this button advanced here, which will always bring the old. And you can combine the new stuff with the old. So quick typing, CAS against Kram. No further thinking, enter, plug.
Got it.
You see. And the interesting thing is, I have 123 games. Further, I haven't started the search yet. I get this feedback. I could say, let's say rook ending between the two. Do we have rook ending with one pawn between them? I haven't one game. Okay. So I see I have one game.
Okay.
As far as with the trivial technical rook ending. I want to see this game. Then I click. Okay, there's the game. Okay.
Nice.
And do some final thing, and then I'm done, though I could talk for hours and hours more about this.
I would be very happy to hear it. I mean, it's amazing to understand.
I will show you another brilliant stuff done by Jeroen. It's entering positions. Okay, the good old position data setup dialog. But you see an interesting new games list here. So if I say, okay, I put my kings here and here, maybe clone. This king on g8 is somehow not so cool. So, okay, and I want to start entering position. And then it's all games.
Oh, you don't need to even search, like here only you get it.
Yeah, and the point of this, the idea is, most times you enter positions, you do it from chess books or from maybe chess magazines also.
Right.
And the more you refine this, the fewer games you will have in the search. For example, you only have now 2 games in the Mega database, interestingly enough, with this position fragment. And
so it doesn't look at the exact position, but it takes in the pieces. Like there could be more pieces also.
Yeah, so I can click now on any of those games. For example, these games of Van Delft. And then I get the position which satisfies this search definition.
Got it.
If I do undo, I'm back at my search definition, and then I have many more games. So I click any game, and you see, this is my fragment is there. The point it's if you enter a known position, it will just speed up game entry a lot, because you quickly recognize your game in this list which you're trying to enter. But it's also a funny way to play around with kind of position search interactively here.
Can I try like one position if we clear the board?
Yeah, of course.
No, clear the board, and white king g1, knight on e3, black knight on e3, and pawn on I think pawn on d4 for black.
On b4.
D for Deutschland, and white pawns on f2, g2, I think h2, something.
So this is okay here. This is
I think Kramnik Anand, that bishop is on f1. White bishop is on f1. I'm not sure if I have all the pieces correct. The pawn was on f4 basically, not d4. So that's why it was not searching the same position. Black pawn on f4, yeah. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Very interesting.
The famous game, Anand Kramnik.
Okay, Matthias, it's your turn. Thank you.
Okay. Please unshare. So share. So I have to click here. So now I will share my screen.
Yeah.
I want to, it's becoming a little bit more technical. So I have here a new database format. You see only 5 files. A big improvement over the old format, which you see below that.
You mean the ones in the red are the new ones?
Sorry?
Which is the new one? The red, the ones in the red.
The red one, yeah.
Ah, okay, got it.
You see, just 5 files. And this includes, so I will unmark this. This includes this, this, this. This includes all these files.
This is the old one.
Yes, all in these 5 files. Okay, no, it was 6 files. So this new data format is interesting because it's its own search booster. Okay. I will show you this in a few seconds. I will begin with okay, no, let's just go to the search booster. You see, this is without any other search booster. It's a database of about 9 million games, or with and you see the result is immediately there, without having to do anything more than just using the database itself.
Ah, so you mean the reference feature will be much faster, right?
It's not much faster, but it's definitely not slower than before, but you don't have to create a search booster.
Ah, got it.
This was always a support problem. This was always, people forgot about this and complained that the search was slow.
Right.
Again, it's faster, but you won't immediately notice unless you go back to the old program and then use the new one again. Then you use and go back to the old program again. Then you will see it's a bit more sluggish,
right,
in this aspect. So next thing I want to show is wrong. Another thing which is I merge a lot of games.
Okay.
Somehow this went wrong. I have no idea why. Okay, let us do it again. I have a database of
use tactical positions. Why not?
No, I want to use this one.
Ah, yeah, that's better.
Yeah, okay. Wrong database. So I merge about 2,500 games.
Okay.
So now the notation is generated. This takes about 5 seconds, and it would have taken about 20 seconds in the old program. And now comes the real nice part. I input a move, and it takes a half a second to display it in the notation. And with such a big analysis, the old program would have pondered every time again for 15, 20 seconds or more. So it's much more usable, it's much faster in displaying information on the screen.
Because of the new format, right?
This is technical. This does not have so much to do with the new format, but because of a lot of improvements in the handling inside the program.
Got it.
This is a big technical improvement, because I know a lot of players who are using big analyses, big repertoires for their games. And one colleague in the office has so large repertoires that it has problems on his computer.
Got it.
And now he tried this and it's working smoothly. So also in the same way improved is the list here. And it's drawn much faster. So this is just a thing you recognize if you go back to the old program. You think what it's doing, it's so slow. It's very nice to have.
Right.
Okay, let us load a position. A new feature which is connected to the new data format is I go anywhere and I say, okay, I want to be this. This was the end of the game. The rest is analysis. This was a feature asked for a long time because you could previously you could only enter the same move again and add analysis.
Control same move and then make it into the main line or the variation.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. And now you can mark the end of a game clearly. You see it's drawn slightly in a slightly gray, but here you can analyze in the same way. You can have a complete analysis after that.
Right.
This is very interesting features for new for people annotating games and making everything clear.
If h3 is the last move
here,
and if white wants to now analyze king g1. Okay, got it. So you don't have to have the variation. Okay. Right.
No, I just put it in.
Right. Earlier, the result would come below all the analysis. Now it's like the result comes above and then the analysis, correct?
Yes. You see, I can remove that. You see, so it's gone again.
Right.
This is it's a nice thing to have.
Got it.
Okay, let's close this and let us go to here. I have here a PGN file. I copy the marked area. This is a PGN game.
Okay.
It opened after the restart of ChessBase. It opened a window with the game. I can show it again. I mark the next game. So, and you see ChessBase should have opened another one. So where is it here? You don't have to do anything on top of that, just copy the game, and if ChessBase is open, it will open the game. It's even nicer. Let me close ChessBase. So, and I start it again. You see what happened?
Got it.
The game was already copied to the clipboard.
And it opened the board.
Yeah. You go on a website or in an email, mark the game, open ChessBase, and the game is there.
And when I try to save it, it gets saved in, I will save as.
It asks you for a database.
Got it. So
here's another new thing I can show you while it's here. You can save a game as an analysis, a long description what you're doing, and you can enter who's the annotator, the date, and where it comes from. So you don't have to enter white, black, and these things. And
you mean
just imagine you have a database of studies or of studies where you don't have players.
right? For example, a trainer wants to create material on pawn endgames.
Yeah.
Then
yeah,
he doesn't
for
have
example.
to. Yeah, okay, got it.
So one other thing, the first dialogue you noticed when you started ChessBase 17 for the first time was this dialogue.
Right.
You remember?
Yeah.
So what is the purpose of it? Well, modern Windows versions want to set up Windows in a way that the documents folder is in OneDrive. But storing big databases, Fritz trainers, and such things in OneDrive is a bad idea.
Got it.
Yeah, so this, I don't have a OneDrive installed here, so the folders are the same. If ChessBase detects on the first start documents in OneDrive, the standard data folder is the OneDrive path. And the custom data folder is the local path, as you see here. And what we think should be locally stored will be set to custom throughout this dialog. For example, large data, database, your products, magazine, express. Other things like your work or play chess will still be stored in OneDrive because it does make sense to have them stored there. So normally, if the user sees this dialog for the first time, he clicks OK and he is fine.
Got
it. You see this. We had this folders dialog before, but it was not so elaborated. It was a very small one.
So if it is a mega database, then it would be the large database, right? The first one.
Yeah, again, yes, it's a large database. This would be set to custom to be stored locally.
Right.
So, okay, this is one thing. Oh, let's go back to this. On new game, open last game. Okay, I will show you what this does. I load a game. I close ChessBase. I start it again. Okay, you already saw what happened. It loaded the game automatically. Oh no, this was not true. This was from the clipboard.
This was the clipboard game. Okay, got it.
I have to delete the clipboard first. Okay, so let's do it. Let's do it again. I load again. I close ChessBase. I start it again. And now, the first time I create a new board, Control N. It loads this game.
Got it.
It's similar to what Fritz does, but it only does it the first time. I close it, I open it again, now you get an empty board.
Maybe it helps you to remind you what you were working on the last time.
Yes,
something
yes.
Like
yeah, for me, for example, I always you work in one game, test analysis and so on, and then I restart ChessBase. It's a huge time saver to quickly have the same game again. And because if I load it from the database and I add annotations and I forget to save it or so, I will have everything in there, all the annotations I did last time.
Right.
Especially in analysis.
Now the similar option on program start open last database. Okay, I open my database. So, okay, I do something else. I close ChessBase. Everything is closed. I start ChessBase again. You already see what happened.
Right, right.
It opened the database automatically.
Got it.
These are just things to save time for the people. And you will also have noticed that I work in a different layout.
Yes, it's a new.
Yeah, I can switch to 4 different
nice
designs.
This is a new feature. Yeah, I don't think it was there in ChessBase 16, right?
No, this is new. This is the first time we have it in the program.
Got it.
Fritz 18 did not have it. ChessBase 16 did not have it.
Nice.
There's also a thing, if something goes wrong, if you already updated your program and you update it again, you have 2 updates, and the second last update is also saved, and then you can undo the last update.
Okay, that's a nice one, because many times some update may have a bug for a few days, then they can undo it and then update it later.
That is correct. Yeah. So I show you some more options. I cannot demonstrate via Zoom. You can, if you replay games, you can announce the moves and speak text annotations.
Oh, nice. Oh, this is amazing. This can be useful for the visually impaired players.
Yeah.
You can do by Zoom also. What you need to do is, when you are sharing the screen, at the bottom there is a tick called share sounds.
Hopefully it works.
E2, E4. E7, E5.
Wow.
Knight G1, F3.
Wow.
Knight B8, C6. Bishop F1, C4. Knight G8, F6. Knight F3, G5. This is a test.
Fantastic.
D7, D5.
You see?
This is a game changer for visually impaired players. I think they don't need another software, right? It just works on ChessBase 17.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
I mean, of course, for everyone it's useful, but especially for the visual impaired. Yeah. And the way it says, it can also be changed, or it will always say E2 to E4. Can it also say like E4, E5, Knight F3?
Oh, I don't have an option for that.
Got it.
Currently.
Okay.
Because we thought when someone wants to have it, the move announced, he may not always look to the screen. So it's easier to have a full notation.
Got it.
Because people, for example, use it to play on a board, on play chess or something like that. So the moves are announced, and it's easier for them if it's a full notation.
Got it.
But if you think we should add an option, maybe.
No, I think it's great. I mean, this is a great addition.
Yeah. Okay. These were quite some technical things. There's another thing. Let's open the Mega database. You won't see it, but you see the websites. This has a complete new technical foundation. Previously in ChessBase 16, we used the Internet Explorer for this, and now we use Edge.
Okay.
The modern browser, so more things are possible to be done in this websites. So this is really technical, as I said, because the difference are not to be seen easily.
But it's smoother.
It's smoother. It's a faster browser. More can be done. It's Internet Explorer just was a very old browser, which lacked all the modern features that browsers have today.
Got it.
So, okay. That was basically my part. I think that is enough for now. You have a good, I think you have a good base to ponder what we told you.
Right, right. It's amazing. So what would you say is the main USP of ChessBase 17 according to you? Would you say it's the brilliant this beauty feature, or how if there were two features that you would highlight?
Okay, the feature, well, there are three things which we enhanced. One is the performance and usability. Second is usability, and third is functionality. Performance means two things: new data format, much more efficient, versatile, and in many functionalities faster. Usability means all this, what Matthias showed: faster notation, faster lists, more beautiful board. We didn't talk about this 1 second, but there's a lot which has changed also with the two-dimensional board. So usability is quite good. And functionality, third pillar. And in functionality, certainly the three USPs are intuitive new search, new engine features, radical innovations, I think, since 30 years. 30 years happened nothing, and the beauty search. You see, since 30 years, no, since 100 years or more, we annotate games with exclamation marks.
Right.
An exclamation mark basically is a very simple way of saying this is the best move. It's a good and this is the best move. And now we have a very refined, a new way to replace this exclamation mark by this only colored squares, which say so much more about why this is a good move, a forced move, a strong move.
But also a fourth point, the accessibility of the data through the new search mask, which is a huge feature.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. And this new logo, which is there, the knight and bishop, why was that chosen for ChessBase 17? Is there any specific reason?
It just looks nice.
Got it.
Yeah. We thought we could maybe replace it with a proper logo, but then we just left it there because it somehow looked nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, there's one thing which is also, I think it is not described in the beta document because it's so very, very recent. There's a function to extract training material from any database.
How does it?
It's just 1 second.
No, I would love to. Anything that is related to training, would be amazing to see.
Okay, just let's go. So you can see my window, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I get back to my wonderful, good old database, the famous games here, and I select them all. I do right-click, harvest training material.
Okay.
Then needs to load an engine. I select any database. So just look some temporary junk which I throw away after this. Temp, no. Okay, this takes time, but not too long. It has to analyze games.
I think somehow I think you shared a window, not the screen, because I can't see.
Okay, this function is not very fast. It has processed 8 games, but in 8 games it found 5 interesting training positions. You see, the all games are analyzed move by move with an engine. And so it really takes time. You can let this run for a couple of hours. And I will stop in 1 minute. Now we have already harvested 12 training positions. So I stop here and it will automatically open the database and where these games have been written to. And you can see the following. You see these deleted games. Those are the original games, the full game. And below the deleted game, you see one or more positions from the game, which are training positions, tactically interesting positions that are deduced from this game. You see, okay, bishop f5, mates. Next game, Murphy du Brunswick, very famous, of course. So
nice.
We just generate, and you see for Rosannes Anderson's, we found three positions in one game. I did mark those games as deleted so that you can quickly remove them from the database if you only want to retain the original training positions. But I like to see the full game for reference so that I can see those positions in context. So I save it in this database. But if I look at Rosannes Anderson, I can see 1, 2, 3 tactical training positions from this game, even more in the famous Zuckertort Blackburn. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 training positions, and so on. Lasker Bauer, of course, gives me 2. Bishop takes h7. We had a lot of Lasker Bauer today. And if you let this run for hours on any database, it will create millions and millions of tactical positions for training.
Amazing. This is, in a way, if we use the tactical analysis feature, which would then give the board during critical moments. It is a better way of, it's just about training positions here, right?
It's just to extract training. If you are a trainer and you have, let's say you have a tournament from yes, or you're a club player, and from your club championship, you want to extract the nicest combinations or so, then this training as training questions, then this will do it. It combines all our combination search features, which we have in ChessBase to find those positions. And the positions are already all checked with an engine. That is the reason why it takes a bit to be unique in the solution, that there's no second best move, which also would be a solution, even if it's a nice sacrifice. So you can properly use them for calculation training right away.
Fantastic. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Matthias. Thank you, Matthias.
Yeah. Thank you for your interest. Have a good time. And see you. Goodbye, Saga.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Take care.